Hi everyone, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm Hannah, and today we're talking about family and how family is an important part of life. We love and care for our family, and they are always there to help us. But when talking about family in English, it is important to know the right words. Today we will talk about extended family. These are the family members who are not part of your immediate family, like your mother, father, brother, or sister. Knowing how to talk about extended family is useful because families can be big, and you might want to talk about them in English. Let's learn these words together. First, let's start with your grandparents. Your grandparents are the parents of your parents. Your father's parents are your grandparents, and your mother's parents are also your grandparents. You call your grandfather grandpa or granddad in English. Your grandmother is called grandma or granny. These are common and friendly ways to talk about them. For example, you can say, I love visiting my grandma, or my grandpa tells me stories. Grandparents often have brothers and sisters. These are your great uncles and great aunts. A great uncle is your grandparent's brother, and a great aunt is your grandparent's sister. They are not as common in everyday conversation, but if you want to talk about them, it's good to know these words. For example, you can say, my great aunt lives in the city. Now let's talk about your aunts and uncles. Your aunt is the sister of your father or mother, and your uncle is the brother of your father or mother. They are an important part of extended family. For example, if your father has a brother, you can say, he is my uncle. If your mother has a sister, you can say, she is my aunt. Sometimes, your aunt or uncle may be married. The person they marry is also your aunt or uncle. For example, your father's sister's husband is your uncle. Aunts and uncles might have children. These children are your cousins. Cousins are family members who are not brothers or sisters but still close to you. For example, if your uncle has a daughter, she is your cousin. If your aunt has a son, he is also your cousin. In English, we do not say boy cousin or girl cousin often. We just say cousin. For example, I went to the park with my cousin. Sometimes you might have many cousins. You can talk about them by saying first cousin, second cousin, or third cousin. A first cousin is the child of your aunt or uncle. A second cousin is the child of your parent's cousin. It sounds a little confusing, but it is easy when you practice. For example, you can say, my second cousin lives far away. When your cousins have children, they are your cousins too, but they are called cousins once removed. This means they are part of your family, but not as close as first cousins. For example, if your first cousin has a baby, that baby is your cousin once removed. You can still just say cousin if you want to keep it simple. Next, let's talk about in-laws. When someone in your family gets married, their husband or wife becomes your in-law. For example, if your brother gets married, his wife is your sister-in-law. If your sister gets married, her husband is your brother-in-law. If your mother gets married again, her new husband is your stepfather. If your father gets married again, his new wife is your stepmother. The children from their marriage are your step-siblings. For example, my stepbrother and I go to the same school. You might also have nieces and nephews. A niece is the daughter of your brother or sister. A nephew is the son of your brother or sister. For example, if your sister has a baby boy, he is your nephew. If your brother has a baby girl, she is your niece. You can say, I bought a gift for my niece, or my nephew loves to play football. Sometimes families are big, and there are many generations. For example, your great-grandparents are the parents of your grandparents. You can say, my great-grandmother lived in a small village. The children of your great-grandparents are your grandparents, and their children are your parents. You are their grandchildren, and if you have children, they will be great-grandchildren. It keeps going with every new generation. There are also words for family members that come from marriage. For example, if your father gets married again, his new wife's children are your stepbrothers or stepsisters. If your mother gets married again, her new husband's parents are your step-grandparents. You can say, I visited my step-grandparents last weekend. Adoptive families have special names too. If your parents adopt a child, that child becomes your brother or sister. It doesn't matter if you are not related by blood. In English, we just say brother or sister for adoptive siblings. For example, my adopted brother is very funny. Family can also include people who are not related to you but feel like family. For example, close family friends are sometimes called aunt or uncle, even though they are not your real aunts or uncles. This is a friendly way to show they are important to you. You can say, Aunt Lisa is my mum's best friend. Talking about extended family can sometimes feel complicated, but it is also fun. When you know the right words, you can talk about your family with confidence. For example, you can say, I have 2 aunts, 1 uncle, and 5 cousins. Or, my grandmother loves to cook for us. Using the correct words makes it easier to explain your family to others. If someone asks, do you have any siblings? You can say, yes, I have a brother and a stepsister. If someone asks, who is that in the picture? You can say, that is my nephew. Practicing these words will help you feel more comfortable talking about your family. Extended family is special because it shows how big and connected your family can be. Grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews all play a role in your life. Learning their names in English helps you share stories about them and stay close, even if you live far apart. Talking about family is a wonderful way to connect with people. When you meet someone new, you can ask them about their family. For example, do you have any brothers or sisters? Or, do you see your grandparents often? These questions can start interesting conversations and help you make new friends. Family words are not just for talking, they are for listening too. When someone tells you about their family, you can use these words to understand them better. If someone says, my niece is visiting today, you will know they are talking about their brother or sister's daughter. Learning about extended family in English is like building a tree. Each branch is a family member, and each word helps you see how they are connected. Grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, nephews, and in-laws are all part of the tree. Knowing their names helps you talk about your family clearly. Family is a big part of life, and talking about it in English can be easy and fun. With practice, you can learn to use these words every day. Start with the family members closest to you and then learn about the extended family. Soon, you will know how to talk about everyone in your family tree. So go ahead and start practicing. Family is love, and learning how to talk about it makes that love even stronger. Thank you for joining me today on the English Learning Podcast. If you found this episode helpful, share it with a friend who's also learning English. Good luck, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.